Welcome to An Outside View. I'm your host, Dick Zaccaro, and I have a special guest appearance today. Joining me, Frankie Imbergano from the North End.
All right. Hi, Dick. How you doing?
¿Cómo está, amigo mío?
Bene grazie.
Benvenuto el spectacular.
All right.
Translated, folks, that's welcoming Frankie to the show. I asked him how he's doing, and enjoy the show.
Thank you very much.
So Frankie is an actor. He's appeared in several movies, and he's also a chef. So we're going to start off, give us a little background, where you grew up, and how you got into the movies.
Okay, I grew up in Boston's North End, which is the little Italy of Boston. And the way I got involved with acting was actually through the cooking. I wrote a cookbook back in 2003. And there was Emeril Lagasse on the Food Network had a big contest coming up. So my wife and I got together and we looked at this contest and I had to submit a bio and a copy of the recipe and the reason why you wanted to be on there and all that. So I was in work at the post office at the time. I submitted everything, and then about a week later, I got a call from the Food Network. They says there was 1,500 contestants, and I was in the top 100. So I said, gee, I got a chance for 100, not too bad. 2 weeks later, I got another call, and the guy says, the producer called. He says, you're in the top 25, and we'll get back to you in a few days. So the guy called back again and said, I was the top winner. We're coming to Boston. So I was excited. I said, gee, this is unbelievable. So they came to the North End, and I met the producer and the whole crew, Emeril's Food Network crew. I met them all in the North End at a butcher shop called Bruzzese Meat Market at 7 o'clock in the morning. And we did some filming in there. I was purchasing the hamburger to make the meatballs. So I went in there, did that. Then we did some walking and talking through the North End. And then we went back to my home, and I made it live. And they all stayed at my house, and we ate. And we had pasta and meatballs and gravy all day long, and some wine. And then about a week and a half later, they flew me and my wife over to New York City, and I was on Emeril Live, his show, Emeril Live show, with the three other winners and their spouses. So we all sat at the high top tables. Emeril came out and all that. Now after that happened, I was home one day. I got a call from Boston Casting. They said, "Gee, we saw you on Emeril, and we're doing a movie in Boston. It's called Stiffs with Danny Aiello. We think you'd be a good fit, why don't you come to the studio?" So I went up there, and I got interviewed, and next thing you know, I was in the movie. That was my first movie, and it was like a featured extra part. I'm in a scene with Danny Aiello going into the funeral parlor. There was a movie about these people owned the funeral parlor, and I guess the business was getting slow, so they were hiring these thugs from Boston to kill people so they'd have more wakes.
And what part did you play?
I played a mourner. I was walking in with this woman, and Danielle comes over and he shakes my hand, he gives me a hug. He says, "I'm sorry to hear about your loss." I'm supposed to be part of the person that was in the coffin, the family. So that was the first one. Then the second one, did the Game Plan with The Rock. Then I did The Mall Cop, and I did Pink Panther 2 with Steve Martin. And that all developed, and then I did The Fighter, and American Hustle, then Proposal. I did, at this right now, I've been in over 50 movies. And I get a lot of featured extra parts, some they call principal roles, and some speaking roles.
Right. The movie in The Rock, was that the one where he was a football player?
Yeah, exactly.
His daughter? Actually, my daughter did, she had a little stand-in part on there where the barking crab is.
Oh, right.
If you remember the scene with him when he had his daughter there. He didn't know about, but then the mother dropped him off to her, and he was a professional football player. But the daughter was allergic to peanuts and ate something with peanut butter, and they had to rush her off in the story.
Oh wow!
So my daughter was one of the extras that sat there.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was a team agent with Kyra Cedric, Kevin Bacon's wife, and I was walking around with a briefcase with her, and we actually filmed that. It was in Westwood, in the University Avenue, in one of the buildings there.
We're going to pause for about a minute, and we're going to show the viewers out there actually a reel and highlights of some of your films that you're in.
That'd be great,
we'll be right back, enjoy the video, and then we'll get in with Frankie, talk about some of the actors he met, maybe some of the experiences, and we'll get into a lot of other things. So we'll be right back. Enjoy the film clip.
Jesus Christ, Lou. This guy comes in here every friggin' day and gets into my meatballs. How come he never pays? Who is he?
started here. Let's not mess around. Let's take a look at our first winner. Look at your monitors, folks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Frankie Imbergano from Boston's North End, and I'm going to show you how to make Frankie's gravy. One of my fondest memories was when my mother was frying the meatballs on Sunday mornings. The aroma from the meat that we buy here at Frank's. Morning, Frank. How are you?
Morning, good morning. How are you?
Boy, I gotta make a gravy today. I need 2 pounds of hamburger, all beef. The Italians that live in the South Shore call it sauce.
Now you ready for the sauce?
Most of the Italian people that live in the Boston, North End, call it gravy.
It's a new kind of Yankees-Red Sox rivalry.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah!
Yankees-Red Sox scratch games from the Connecticut Lottery.
Hey, Frankie. I ordered the chicken parm with extra cheese.
Annie, today's your lucky day, because I've got a deal for you. How about if I give you this sandwich filled with oven from the oven, and you agree to go out with me?
How about this, Frankie? I'll agree to pay you double for the sandwich, and you'll agree to leave me the frig alone!
Oh.
Yeah. Mr. Tromboni, where are you on family values?
He's for him.
Thank you very much.
Okay, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed that clip. It was very interesting, Frankie. You got a lot of talent.
Oh, thank you.
So, talk a little bit about the Stan the Man. I watched the film clip from that. That was a funny movie.
Yeah, that was DJ Stan the Man. We filmed that about 4 years ago. It took us a long time. We filmed it for over a year. And it's about this DJ Stan the Man. Chase Carson plays DJ. I play one part of his staff. I play the photographer. And he's very bitter because he was a rock star DJ 30 years ago, and now he gets small gigs, and he's very bitter, and he gets sharp money gigs, $50 to do small stuff, small weddings, and you know, and I'm trying to calm him down, and I end up getting into a fight with him. I'm a black guy in the movie, not to give too much away, but
right.
The director, Matt Fisher, he did a great job. He's from Hanover, Mass, and he did a great job writing. He directed it, and he wrote it, and we had a sold-out crowd in Arlington Regent Theater when it came up. And then we had a big after party at Bocelli's restaurant in Medford. And we had
cool.
And we're going to be doing a 5-year anniversary pretty soon. We have a screening around the South Shore, I believe, maybe cool. Dedham.
Now, where can the viewers see some of your movies? What's the best way? Are they on Netflix, on demand, or where can they see them?
Well, most of the movies I was in, they're on DVD, and then
right.
some of them will go to Netflix. DJ Stan the Man, I believe, is on iTunes, and he has DVDs for sale. You can get, if you send an email to Matthew Fisher on Facebook, he'll send you a DVD to purchase for like $10 or something.
Now, have you ever taken professional acting lessons?
Yeah, I did. I went to New England Models Group. I'm a member there.
Right.
They're like an agent of mine, and I went there and I took acting classes for a couple of weeks. This guy named Tom Logan, he's a Hollywood director. Mm-hmm. He goes to New Hampshire every quarter for about 3 weeks. Right. And I attended his classes. And I actually got like a lot of, after I was done, I got some print work and some commercials through them, mm-hmm. and some movies as well. And they're called the New England Models Group. It's NEMG. Right. In Manchester, New Hampshire. Very right. good. Right. And that helped me a lot. They showed me how to do commercials first, and then, you know, how to speak and all stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Terrific. Well,
yes, that was good.
You got that good face and good mannerisms, right? Most of them are wise guy movies.
Yeah, a lot of them. I get stereotypes sometimes. Wise guy movies. And, right. A lot of the stuff I got with prison guards and right. you know, police officers. I was a police officer in RIPD with Jeff Bridges, right. and I was a prison guard in The Fighter, and also a prison guard in That's My Boy with Adam Sandler's movies. I did like 3 or 4 movies with Adam Sandler. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I just saw his latest movie, The Gem, Uncut Gem.
Yeah, he's a great guy. You know?
And he's a local, isn't he? Where's he from? New Hampshire?
He's from Manchester.
I think yeah.
He's from Manchester. Yeah.
So can you share with the viewers some maybe off-screen stories, a little gossip or something, how you get along with the actors off-screen?
Yeah, and I was doing Grown Ups 1, and we were on set with Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Rock, and Kevin James. So Adam Sandler asked me, we want to go upstairs to the YMCA in the South End. We have a couple hours to kill, so I went up there, we played basketball. and I was playing with Adam Sandler and David Spade and Chris Rock, and he's a great shooter. Adam, I was on his team, and we played basketball for a while there. Another story I got is I was the waiter in American Hustle for David O. Russell, the director.
Right, that was a great movie.
Yeah, so I was serving Jennifer Lawrence and Christian Bale, and Angela Perry, the owner of Boston Casting, she told Frankie's really a chef too. You know, he's wrote a cookbook, so I gave him a cookbook. Right. The next day, Angela asked me if I could make some eggplant and parmesan for him. So I made 3 big trays of eggplant parmesan, and I went to Angela's house, and they were on the backyard, Jennifer Lawrence, and they were sitting outside eating. I had to leave. I couldn't stay because I had to go do DJ Stand the Man that day, you know. So, but they were very nice to me, and you know.
So they're very personable people.
Yeah, I have always Melissa McCarthy. She was great in Ghostbusters. I worked with her, and
right.
And I actually gave her a list of some North End restaurants to go to because she knew I was from the North End.
Right,
so,
right.
She was very nice, and the proposal, Sandra Bullock, she was very, you know, Christian Bale, he was a nice guy. Most of everyone was really, they treat you well, very nice.
Yeah.
I know people say they could be snobby, but I never experienced that, not with me anyway. You know?
Yeah, my son, he was a head bouncer one time at Club Felt. It's an upscale pool room in Boston on Washington Street. And when they filmed Mystic River, the grand opening in Boston, Clint Eastwood was there, Harvey Robbins, and Sean Penn.
Oh, great.
So every night, Sean Penn hung out with my son, and they had him in a private room. And,
that's beautiful.
And he hung out all night with them, and he said he was very...
Matter of fact, you said Felt, right?
Yeah.
That's where we had the fighter premiere.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah,
it was quite a pool
the fighter
room.
was over, we went there after the set, we had the party at Felt on Washington Street, yeah.
One night, a funny story, I was there with some friends, and I'm a decent pool player. I know a lot of trick shots, so I think it was one of the New England edition shows highlighting all the clubs and places in Boston that were to go for entertainment. They did a segment on Club Felt, and I was upstairs in the balcony. My son called me down, and he said, my father's a trick shot artist. Can he close the show with the shot? So they said, we'll give you 1 shot. If you miss the shot, you're out. If you make it, you make the cut. And I made the shot. And they said, well, not all pool players have the caliber of this shot, but come on down and enjoy it.
You must have showed that guy Elliot from Jordan's Furniture.
Right. That's the same shot, actually.
Is that the shot?
Same shot, the 4 balls.
Yeah, I played pool myself.
Yeah, we'll play.
I played pool all my life from the North End. We used to have 5 pool rooms. But now there's none at all. That's changed so much. So, but I grew up in the pool rooms like all my life. And we played 9-ball. We played all the 61. We played all different games.
Right.
And, billiards, you know. So we had a lot of fun doing that.
So let's get into a little bit of some new projects. What are you coming up?
Well, the last movie I just did was Vault. It was just came out. Actually, it's on. I just saw it. It's on Prime Video now, and also on what's it called, Epix TV now.
Right.
They changed it.
Yeah.
Epix TV on cable. It's called Vault. That's with Chaz Palminteri. And I play a part. I play the prison bookie. I'm in the prison yard. We're all sitting at a picnic table.
Right. Yeah.
And you saw.
I saw the film
see
clip.
The film?
Yeah, that was great.
And I'm on the phone. I'm taking the action.
Well,
so,
from the North End.
yeah.
I mean, you know.
So the director.
You're a natural.
Tom DiNucci, the director, nice guy. He goes, Frankie, I'm gonna make you the bookie. I said, all right, it's fine, you know. So he's showing me what to do.
Very cool.
Make sure if you're writing, get the pencils, get the book, you know. So it was a lot of fun. That's out now, yeah. And I also did. I did some print work, and I do like also, you know, for New England Models Group, like different things. Like I did a Vicks commercial a couple of years ago.
Right.
And that was me on TV. I don't know if you saw it. I was in like a bed with the tissues all over the place, a bathrobe. They make you really look sick. And we filmed it over here in Easton, Massachusetts, and it was in a house.
Oh, the Ames estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did that, and right now this is so slow now, but it'll be pick up in March.
Right. Right.
So, but that's about it right now.
That's a beautiful house.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah, we did that there.
Yeah.
And I was in a few lottery commercials. I was in JetBlue commercial. I was different things.
Wow.
So I stay busy. I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild.
Okay.
SAG. So I get a lot of work. And
now, do you have an agent as well?
Well, I have the New England Models Group, and I have Boston Casting. That's all I really need. You know?
Right.
Unless if I was able to go to Hollywood or California, then it'd be different.
Right.
You know,
People don't realize the work that goes into a movie.
That's what I'm saying. We don't even need to do that. We got enough work here.
Yeah, and I've seen it's labor intensive. I mean, I saw a few film sets before, and I mean, sometimes it takes them hours to shoot a quick scene.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the background people if they're talking to someone they shouldn't be, they have to cut
it's
and
amazing.
do it over and over
amazing.
again.
And sometimes you're on your feet for 4 or 5 hours. They just keep doing 30. I remember we did RIPD with Jeff Bridges, and we did like 40 takes. It took like 5-6 hours.
Right.
You're on your feet,
And they like to film first thing in the morning, right?
Oh, the first thing in the
morning. They're
morning.
up like crack of dawn.
Yeah, we have a call time, sometimes 5 a.m. I remember I had to go to Rhode Island for Vault, and I'd be there at 5:30 a.m.
Right.
For that movie. And they also do, they get a lot of these vacant buildings, like, or they'll get schools, in the summertime when they're closed, and they'll use it, we did That's My Boy, it's called, with Adam Sandler, and that was taking place in supposed to be a girls' prison with Susan Sarandon. She was in prison, it was a female prison, and they used the Humana School in East Boston.
Right.
Because it was closed, and it was in July,
Right.
So they do a lot of stuff like that, yeah. It's interesting, too.
Yeah, my wife's niece, she lived out in Hollywood for a while, and her husband was a decorator on the sets. And he won an award, an Academy Award for his work, but she got kind of two-bit parts in a few movies. One was Adam Sandler, I forget the name of the movie, he played a detective, but she played an exotic dancer at a place he was at. But,
I remember that one.
Yeah.
And my friend Chris Palermo was in there. Yeah, and then also I'm in a web series called Pizza Makers. And Chris Palermo, he's the director, he's also the writer. And we did about 13 episodes.
Yeah.
We're on a little hiatus right now, but he might start up and do like a short film now.
Yeah.
And well, 5 years ago, we were in a contest, we went to a comedy contest at Child's Playhouse.
Right.
We came in second place.
Yeah.
Now, the woman that ran it, Carol Patton, from the Imagine News magazine, she said we would have won if we had more people there, because they took the votes by the people in the audience.
Right.
And they had more people than us, but I think we did a great job.
I think that in that clip, the Pizza Makers had a short clip. I love the line when you were behind the counter and the woman comes in, very Italian-looking woman, beautiful lady, and says, "I want a chicken parm." And said, "Listen, I'll cut a deal with you. I'll give you some loving from the oven.
Right.
If you go on a date with me." And she says, "Frankie, I'll tell you what, I'll pay double to leave me the frig alone."
Yeah, that was
that was a classic.
She's great. She's a good actress. She does a lot of stuff for the Native Collection Mall too, like modeling and advertisement and all that stuff. Clothes.
Right.
And she's a good actress. And matter of fact, her sister owns the Red Sox. She's married. Her sister's married to John Henry.
Wow.
Wow. And not to plug them, but I'm just saying, But, she's very nice. I just talked to her the other day. She does a good job.
Now, talk about some of the directors. They're talented people. So they're sitting right on the set with you.
Yeah, David O. Russell. He's a character. He did the American Hustle and The Fighter.
Yeah.
And all the other Adam Sandler. He's a great guy. Kevin James. I was in a few of his. Here Comes the Boom. Mall Cop. I guess he was a director on that. And, so we did a lot of stuff. We did a lot of. Boston's one of the best places to shoot. We have everything here. We have the seaport, we have the water, we have the tenement buildings, the neighborhoods, the little Italies. We have Beacon Hill. We have a lot of stuff. The Boston Common.
Right.
So we have a lot of nice on-location scenery.
Yeah.
So.
I used to work for the state treasurer, Bob Crane, that was in there for 26 years, and his daughter, Mary Lou, that's what she did. She worked with the Film Bureau in the state, ran that. And I'll never forget our office in room 227 where the vault was, and we used to have a couple $1 million on hand. Back then, before direct deposit, everyone cashed their payroll checks there. But they used our office as a hospital ward for the movie The Firm. Remember?
Right.
With Paul Newman?
Yep.
When he was a lawyer.
That was a good movie, yeah.
He had
The Verdict, the one you're talking about?
The Verdict,
The
right?
Verdict,
Yeah,
that's right.
The Firm
They
was
showed
with
the courthouse. I remember there was a scene inside the courthouse.
So we were the hospital ward where he was visiting one of his clients, but they had a trailer outside, so we used to see him. He was very short. He had those piercing blue eyes, but
right.
They were saying part of his contract was at all times they had to have like 2 cases of Budweiser cold in the trailer.
They make deals like that.
He was a big beer drinker.
Yeah, we actually, like the governor's office now, the tax incentive in Boston here. A lot of our production companies want to come here because they get that 25% tax break.
Right.
And for a while, we were having problems with the governor's office, but now it's stable, and they're trying to vote on it to make it permanent instead of every 4 years, every 2 years, you have to go argue with. They didn't want to do that, so they're working on that now, and because we lost a lot of movies to Georgia.
Right.
So now we're getting them back, so we should be okay now.
Yeah, New Orleans is always infamous
Orleans,
for its
yeah.
scene. Speaking of New Orleans, you mentioned Emerald Lagasse when you won the meatball
Yeah.
contest, but I had the pleasure of having dinner with him when I was in the investment business at one of his restaurants in New Orleans. I believe you've been there.
Nova. I've been there. My wife and I were there.
Great restaurant.
Great, yeah.
And the guy that was our host, he was a dear friend of mine in the investment business. He actually had a cookbook with Emerald's recipes, but they superimposed his picture in the chef's hat on it in coat on the front cover of the book, and they handed them all out to us.
Very nice.
Let's talk about you cooking now. Let's talk about, and interesting, you call it gravy. I grew up with gravy too, but some people debate like tomato sauce, gravy.
Yeah, on page 12 of my cookbook called The Good Life.
Give the viewers
that book is for you. I'm giving that to you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the book.
Here's the cover.
Yeah.
Right here.
And on page 12, it's Frankie's Gravy and Meatballs, and that's the recipe that won. It was, like I said earlier, it was 1,500 contestants, and he picked 4 winners. So the reason why we call it gravy is I grew up in Boston's North End, and most of the people in the North Shore, or East Boston, the North End, like maybe Somerville, Medford, Revere, places like that, we call it gravy, is because growing up in an Italian neighborhood, your family, we used to make gravy on Sunday. So when you put meat into a red sauce, it becomes, they call it a Sunday gravy. So since they do that, they call it now. Let's say, my mother used to give me notes to go get meat, like in the butcher shop, like on a Saturday morning, and it's to say, like, tell the butcher, she should write it down, meat for pork for gravy, bresaola for gravy, and they give them the notes for gravy. So we always were brought up with that, calling gravy. Gravy versus sauce. Some people call it sauce, some people call it gravy, but it's all good and it's all the same, just different. I was in a restaurant in New York City, my wife and I, and the guy come out. He goes, "Hey Jimmy, don't forget to make the gravy today." So they have a little Italy in New York and different Philadelphia, and they call it gravy too.
Yeah, that was
a lot of people say, "Gee, what are you calling it gravy for?" That gravy goes on roast beef and turkey. I said, well, then you have to kind of explain it to them,
Right. Now, any future plans? Would you ever consider opening your own restaurant?
No, I got offered that, but I do cook privately, like for few of the media people, like they want a tray of meatballs, some lasagna, chicken parm, chicken broccoli ziti, things like that, eggplant, and I'll go to their house and I'll either use their pans or I'll cook it and I'll take it,
Right.
I haven't done it recently, but I've done it before for them.
As we know, North End and Federal Hill and Providence have some of the best restaurants, Italian restaurants in the entire country.
I know, Camille's, we still go to
Camille's,
I like
Roma Gardens, Capriccio's.
Capriccio's is really nice.
Old Cantina.
Cantina.
They have all the authentic old Italian dishes.
Last summer, my wife and I went to a place called Sienna's.
Sienna, yeah,
Very
I've
good.
been all of them.
Yeah. Andino's, that's a real Italian.
Andino's, yeah, that was my
You
hangout.
got the Sinatra music all day long.
I used to be the pension fund consultant for the city of Providence, so many nights I went out with Buddy Cianci.
Oh, wow. We met Buddy. Wow.
Yeah.
I met Buddy in Mediterranean one time.
Yeah.
We went there for a drink because we were going somewhere to a concert or something. And my wife and I had dinner there, and Buddy was over there, and we were talking to him. He was a nice guy. He bought us a glass of wine. We were talking for, so we're from Boston, the North End.
They call him the Prince of Providence. Between him and Paolino, they rebuilt that entire city.
If he didn't pass away, he would have won again.
Yeah, they even altered the flow of the river. They have that water fire down there in the summer.
Yeah,
and, all the businesses, he did a great job. Great job with Providence.
They have a lot of good places at Atwell's Avenue, yeah.
Right. Now, most of your shoots, do you have to travel to make these movies, or do you shoot them locally? Or?
Well, we do a lot of Rhode Island. We do like the Berkshires. We stay like in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. Like the New England area mostly.
Right.
New York. I got called to go do The Irishman, but then when I got called, they put it on hold. And the woman told me that they'd get back to me. And then when I called back again a couple months later, they were almost done with it, so I couldn't. But I was going to get a small part in The Irishman. That would have been nice.
That would have been fantastic.
I don't mind going to New York.
That was a great movie. I watched it, but it was a long movie.
Oh,
it was
3.5 hours.
3.5
great
hours.
movie, yeah. I hope they win some awards Sunday.
He's quite a director.
Yeah.
He's won many awards.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you give the people out there some tips of maybe what the best route would be to pursue acting or modeling, or what should they do?
There's a few avenues you can go. Like I would, if you're from Boston, Massachusetts, go on the Boston Casting website and sign up for, they call it the talent page, talent login page, and you submit your resume and a headshot. And after you submit all that, when the movies come up in Boston, you'll be getting a notice online on your computer or your phone, and you apply, you confirm if you want to work. Then if you say you submit it and you want to work, then they'll call you to Boston Cast, and you'll have to go up there, and then they'll tell you, from there you'll get a phone call, and they'll tell you what to do.
What are the highlights? What do you most enjoy about acting?
Well, it's nice. It's like it's after working for the post office for 33 years, this is like fun, but you get paid. We get paid well too. So I'm a member of the union, SAG, and it's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people, and this is how you network with people too. I met a lot of people. This is how I got DJ Stand the Man and the New England Models Group and all these different. You go out and you pass your card out, or you get to know people. You know, if they do like independent films, they call you. You get together with them, and this is how this is all developed. This is how it happened to me, and I met a lot of nice people who I keep in touch with. And then after a while, all the people that do the movies, the production, they get to know you, like Adam Sandler. You know, they know who you are, and I get a lot of work.
So you get paid mostly by the hour?
We get paid. They're called scale pay.
Scale pay, yeah.
And after 8 hours, I think it's like, I don't know, what's $28 an hour. And after 8 hours, then you get time and a half. Then after 10, double time. And then they get they call these meal penalties. If they don't give you your lunch or your dinner at a certain time, you get paid for that. You get paid more money. You know, it's like overtime. You know, you average about maybe between 500 and 700. Like for a 12-hour day.
That's good money.
If you do like 13 to 15 hours a day, now you're making about 900, 800 a day, you know.
But again, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of time.
RIPD, I worked for 30 days. That was the longest in one movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked with Jeff Bridges. We filmed it in a vacant warehouse in Hyde Park.
He's made some great movies.
Yeah, he's funny. He's a character. He used to come in the morning. The warehouse was so big, so the front door, he had a scooter, electric scooter there. He'd come in. He didn't want to walk down there.
I remember the old movie Sea Hunt with his father.
Oh, like that, yeah.
And then he did one about the IRA where he was a policeman in Boston.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah, and the Great Lebowski was a great movie.
No,
he drank White Russians.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was good.
But we got a couple minutes left, so.
So the best thing to do is you go, if people are interested in, get in touch with Boston Casting, bostoncasting.com. Send in your headshot and your resume, and you're on your way, you know, and then things will develop.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show, but let's do a little role playing now. I want the viewers to see your talent. So I'm the Godfather. I'm going to say the old line of Marlon Brando. So Frankie, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. What do you think about that?
Oh my God, what are you going to give me, sir? You're going to give me the cannolis?
Very good, very good. Well, I'm going to present you with my book, too. We'll exchange books. That's the book I wrote about the investment business.
Thank you very much.
And I met Frankie, actually, through a mutual friend of ours who lives out in the West Coast, in Sausalito.
Our friend Lynn Marie.
Yeah, she owned a great sports memorabilia store out there in Sausalito.
Very nice.
Frankie was very interesting, and time flew by. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and
thank you for the book.
I'm going to be watching out for your shows, and we'll get together. We'll go to the North End and break bread, drink some good vino.
Beautiful,
right?
Yeah, definitely. Then we'll go to a cafe. We'll have a after
cigar,
dinner.
Cafe Victoria, cappuccino, and cannolis.
Cannoli and a little Zambuca.
Right. Well, we're signing off to an outside view. We'll see you the next edition, and once again, had the pleasure of hearing from Frankie Imbergano.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Take care. Ciao.
Ciao for now.